What kind of reaction has there been from the protesters to this new law?
Well, the new the police sweeping powers came out of some government secret meeting yesterday, and they were gazetted overnight and took immediate effect today. No consultation, nothing. We got the new rules slapped on you, and this is just a departure from the civilization. I mean, of course, there's a certain amount of resignation amongst Hong Kong people. I mean, what do you do? How do you challenge that sort of the absolute, complete control kind of new law? But then people are angry.
Claudia, several big internet firms, including Google, Facebook, have already said that they will temporarily stop sharing data with authorities in Hong Kong. Is that a welcome move from these companies, or do people feel that it's still not enough?
Well, they've done what they should do, we would think, because under this new law, the authorities must, well, they have every bit of power to tell internet service providers to comply with any intel demand from the authorities. And that's just scary. So that's at least a shield of protection we've got. But then that's it wouldn't help that much because they don't need to search me. Say, if you have a public face in Hong Kong, most of the protesters are fairly known amongst. The crowd, and so it's neither welcome nor I wouldn't say it's unnecessary, but it's all expected.
You were mentioning some of these big names of protesters there that people are familiar with. Many of them have written books. Those books, in another shocking move for many outside of Hong Kong, have actually been pulled from the libraries. I'm curious to know what the general public in Hong Kong thinks about these new infringements on civil liberties.
We're terrified and almost terrorized by these latest developments. The fact that they would remove books with what they would call probable seditious contents and so on. This goes back to the beginning of China's feudal times, that we would burn books and we would burn scholars in order to keep our pure mentality, our pure respect for the authority. That's just unthinkable. But it's happening in Hong Kong, and most people would just think they want to do, they can do whatever they want to do, basically. This new law is everything that they would want it to mean.
So, Claudia, what happens next? How can the protest movement move forward? How can it survive in the face of something as radical as this law?
Some people are leaving. You should look at our immigration application numbers, or at least the number of inquiries about moving out of Hong Kong. But the one thing that's possible is our young people just might go underground. That would make Hong Kong probably a bit more dangerous.
And also, it seems that people, some traditionally outspoken Hong Kongers, are finding creative new ways to voice dissent. For example, using oblique wordplay. That's a feature of Cantonese, I read. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, we use puns and things, right? And the lyrics of this supposed revolutionary song have been turned into numbers. You sing the numbers 1, 2, 3 instead of the actual Chinese characters. But we had a little protest at some, I think, shopping mall yesterday, where some young protesters would just hold up, pretended to be placards, but all blank, no words on there. It's just pieces of white paper, and yet the police would still tell them, you are breaching the new national security law. Either you disperse or you will be arrested. So there you are. This is a police state now in Hong Kong.
Claudia, thank you for taking the time.